Better late than never, they say, right? Well, I'm sorry about being so late with this match review. I know it's over 24 hours ago that the match ended, but I really appreciate all the comments that people sent, and I do appreciate the community as well. Everything's fine on the personal side, but there were some things I had to handle for an entire weekend, which meant I didn't watch the match until much after it happened. All that said, I again want to reiterate how thankful I am for everybody's support and how patient everybody has been for this match review. But if Barca had lost, honestly, I wasn't going to make a match review. Because after watching that match, regardless of how delayed it was, I really felt like this one deserved a match review, especially because of headline 1. And that is, 1, a comfortable win. Even when Valencia made it 3-1, for all those other times that this season Barca were up in a game, I really felt comfortable with this one. I really felt like the team knew that they had it handled. And I think both teams knew that, to be honest. If any Valencia player was going to get one, it was going to be Carlos Soler, and he did. But outside of Soler, who became a bit more central in the second half, Valencia are a struggling team, so you can't really read too much into the final score. But what you can read into is that this Barca team is starting to raise its ceiling. Pedri being healthy has given Xavi options in the midfield, and you can tell that the 4-3-3 he's riding with is something the players are getting more comfortable with throughout the weeks, and nuance is starting to show in different individuals, and again, the formation in general. It's allowing them to do a lot of different things, and against a team in Valencia who is not firing on all cylinders, Barca were able to take advantage of that with the thing that they're building here. I want to thank OneFootball for sponsoring this video. OneFootball is the app I use to keep me up to date on everything FC Barcelona, as well as all the other teams that Alemany might be scouting right now for a big summer transfer window. With a custom-tailored homepage, stay up to date with breaking news, live scores, and even transfer news. While on the go, you can check with matches in live time and watch videos afterwards. Use the link in the description below for a free download of OneFootball on Android or iOS to put all your football in one place. And you'll also help out a tiny Barca channel like this one too. Thanks again to OneFootball for sponsoring this video. Now back to the on-field business. 2 is Gavi everywhere, and I know that does sound like some kind of hit song, but it was true. If not for Aubameyang getting a hat trick, Gavi was my man of the match, by far. There are times when I feel like, at 17, he gets exuberant and he's running around a lot. There are times when he's a little late to fouls, but Barca was so dominant in this game that you really saw what the engine of Gavi can be if a team has no idea how to be physical with him and no idea how to handle him. It's a bit unfair for Ilaix Moriba. Thankfully, they were in Valencia where he got that start, but that wound up being a mano-a-mano battle from La Masia that really was unfair to Ilaix Moriba. No chance against Gavi, who, while fouling 3 times, also gained 6 fouls and was constantly putting himself in really important spots. And it's important too that he was playing as a natural interior and not out on the wing. And you could see that he kind of is held back a bit on the wing. Aside from completing those 23 of 25 passes and snagging an assist, there aren't too many other stats that tell you that Gavi was the non-Aubameyang man of the match. One of the things that stood out to me though was those square balls that he was able to play. And the reason it felt so different was that he was playing as a natural interior. And he was also doing it on the right, by the way, which I think is where he eventually winds up. And clearly Xavi is putting him up at the left wing because he trusts him more than he trusts even other left wingers. And putting Gavi on the field has proved to be a good thing for Xavi. It was a good thing for Koeman, but it's also a good thing for Xavi. And now I wanted to see moving forward with that midfield rotation. De Jong, Busquets, Pedri, everybody getting their chance to go on the bench. Nico getting the occasional start as well. The midfield, unlike the back line, is in a really good spot. And unlike the forwards, who are individually, sometimes they're putting it together, sometimes they aren't. And then as a unit, are they putting it together? Are they not? That midfield is looking healthy and looking deep now that Pedri is fully returned. 2 goals from 2 throw-ins. And yeah, they both happened after quite a few passes. But I think it's important to note because throw-ins generally mean that there is chaos to follow. Where a throw-in happens, and yeah, there are set pieces, and yeah, there's this idea that you kind of know where the ball is supposed to go, but it's right after those throw-ins where chaos can truly live. And if Barca can capitalize in chaos, a place where they usually are the weaker of the 2 sides, that's really going to be a good thing for them moving forward. That's exactly what Napoli tried to do with them, and I think why Napoli had success against Barca, because they trusted that they were going to win those battles of chaos, if you will. But Valencia had no shot. Barca has enough individual talent to always be able to possess the ball and set the tempo of the game, which is different than having control in the match. It should be noted. But the point is that 2 goals coming shortly after throw-ins is a good indication that players are better understanding their roles. If there is a throw-in, this guy goes here, so that guy goes there, and the ball is in the back of the net. And of course, that all started with Garcia's ball over the top to Aubameyang for the first goal. When that one went in and Valencia were punished for their high line, Barca and Xavi really seemed to figure out, and all of it started off a throw-in. 4 is Dest is better with Dembele. And stats from this match don't do Dest any favor. But if you watch the match, it clearly was maybe his best performance of the season, to be quite frank. Especially on the defensive end against Bryan Gil, it was one of his better individual performances and definitely up near the top of best defensive performances in a Barca shirt. And a reminder to the stats, just because he doesn't get credit, a choice by the other team not to send it to the player you're defending is just as good or better than tackling it out of bounds. Dest will have his ups and downs, especially once Alves comes back and becomes the every game starter again, but hopefully this builds his confidence for next time. And as for Dembele, the reason why he brings a better Dest out of Dest is actually probably a simple reason. His ability to kill you inside or outside attracts so much attention, and instead of having to make the decision to make something happen, Dest can make his run and find the space where Dembele and the help defender aren't. I don't know if his friend Aubameyang or a weight has been lifted now that the contract drama seems to be over and the decision was ultimately unfortunately reached, but there seems to be a calm to Dembele. He still operates in chaos with the ball, but he seemed much more controlled. Remember when I said he loses the ball too much before, that 21 to 25 times a game is too much? Against Valencia, Ousmane Dembele, strap in for this one, lost the ball just 6 times. That's in 71 minutes, plus he also only misplayed 3 passes. So in all the ways that we usually criticize Dembele, he did none of that. Actually, he did all the positive things instead against Valencia. And those numbers are enough for me to really truly ask, is something different now about Dembele, now that that contract drama, or whatever it is, the price tag that he formerly was under and just all that weight is now gone, knowing that he's gone? I think that's a thesis and a hypothesis that I'm beginning to put together, so leave your opinion down in the comments below. And 5 is that Aubameyang raises the ceiling. And speaking of Ousmane Dembele's friend Aubameyang, if he's able to get in form like this, a hat-trick says a lot. I don't know how many of these he will have, but if he can play at similar to that level, continue to make those runs, and start to build chemistry with his teammates, Barca are just better when you have a player like that on the field. Luuk de Jong has been really important and is going to be a hero of the season, if you will. And Braithwaite has never been able to get healthy. But Aubameyang, their careers are apples and oranges and really can't be compared. And clearly Aubameyang still, that was the fear, right? That he didn't have enough left in the tank. Clearly he has something left in the tank if you're going to get a hat trick. It took a few matches, but the Gabon striker, learning from my mistakes, looks comfortable and found his scoring boots for 2 goals and got a bit fortunate to get a hat trick off Pedri's golazo. While Ferran Torres continues to struggle, you can listen to the latest podcast to hear my thoughts on that, which didn't really change with this game. Aubameyang was really enjoying playing with Dembele again. That goal he scored to start the game is probably not one that quite a few Barca forwards could have scored over the last few years. He used his speed, strength, and a good finish to get the job done. Who knows how many goals he'll get in the second half of the season, but a hat-trick is a really good start. And as a smaller detail, his build-up was much, much better in this game, especially against the Valencia side that, as we had said, was pretty imbalanced throughout the middle of the field. So Aubameyang had plenty of room to operate where he could even take a heavy touch that would bring him deeper into the midfield. There wasn't somebody immediately picking it up. And again, here's unfortunately looking at Ilaix Moriba again. I want the kid to succeed, but giving Aubameyang all that room to receive the ball, and the center backs for Valencia also had a really, really rough day. But that's not Aubameyang's fault. His job is to score goals, not worry about the Valencia backline and midfield, and he did just that. So there you have it, lots of positivity, and I didn't even get to Eric Garcia's bounce back performance. I didn't talk about Jordi Alba's really stellar game, De Jong and Busquets looking their best as a duo over the last 3 matches, or Araujo returning and looking good. Ter Stegen conversations are a fair conversation, but a bit of a bummer, and as I said, I'm not doing the Ferran Torres thing again. But those things could all be talked about on the podcast tomorrow, so make sure you tune into that wherever you find your podcast. And until then, as always, once again, I apologize for the delay, but everything is sorted. It's all good here, and especially it's all good in Barca world. So as always, Forza Barca.